I want to ask about what had been the proposed road pricing inquiry. Inquiry that in February estimates we were told that the details were going to be announced in the coming weeks. In May, that we're still considering the final arrangements, and over estimates over the last year it's been that the announcement was imminent. The announcement of the eminent person to proceed with it was imminent. So, and I see the report in the media last week, the Australian Financial Review, Deputy PM Michael McCormack shelves inquiry into road pricing. So will the government be proceeding with a road pricing inquiry?
Oh, do you want me to answer that?
That would be excellent.
I'm more than happy to take that on notice. Sorry, Senator Rice, you'll appreciate this isn't my area of responsibility, but I'm very, very happy to raise it with Minister McCormack and get back to you at his earliest convenience.
I mean, Mr McCormack's office declined to give a commitment to holding the inquiry when the AFR asked him. Basically, I want to know whether so you can't even tell me whether that decision has been made. Perhaps the department would know what they've been informed about whether a decision has been made to proceed with the inquiry.
Our understanding is it's the matter's still under consideration by the government, Senator.
Maybe I don't need to take it on notice then.
Last estimates there was an announcement about to be made. The AFR said that there were, they had chosen the people to undertake the inquiry even. That was, NRMA President Wendy Machin, former Victorian Transport Minister Peter Batchelor, former Infrastructure Australia Chief Philip Davies to head the inquiry. But you aren't able to tell me whether the inquiry is going ahead.
I can take that on notice.
All right. And so we haven't... okay, well, let's then, in terms of taking on notice, so who would remain responsible? Who is responsible for any potential investigation of road pricing?
The Deputy Prime Minister.
Okay, so the former, before the change of Prime Minister, it was the Minister for Cities and Urban Infrastructure who previously had that responsibility?
Minister Fletcher.
Has there been any reason as to why there's been that change of responsibility from the we've now got Minister Tudge in that position to the Deputy Prime Minister?
I think the machinery of government changes following the latest ministerial reshuffle saw a lot of different priorities and areas of responsibility given to different ministers. For instance, I've got an additional 2 as well, so that would have been part of that particular shift. And
so will Minister Tudge have involvement in any decisions about road pricing?
The Deputy Prime Minister is the minister responsible for for issues around road pricing and road market reform.
Okay, so the Deputy Prime Minister would have the final say over whether any inquiry went ahead, whether anything proceeded as a result of that inquiry?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. There was also another media report that consideration of road pricing had been wrapped up into the work of the new Office of Future Vehicle Technologies. Is that the case?
Not aware of that report. No. No.
Have you got a media article there, Senator?
I
haven't seen that one either.
There was a Sky News interview.
Oh, okay.
That
they can be quite free-flowing.
Who was the interview with, Senator?
Perhaps, Senator, I don't really need the area of responsibility for road market reform hasn't changed, and it's not with the Office of Future Transport Technology.
Okay, let me just told that if I go back to my Infrastructure Australia information, and I was previously asking them about road pricing. Yes, Sky News on October the 8th. Minister McCormack says the Office of Future Transport Technologies will be looking at the overall mix of automated vehicles, of road pricing, and taking into account what we've said in the past and what we intend to do now and what we'll do in the future. And that was in response to a question about the road pricing inquiry.
So within the department at the moment, the policy responsibility sits in Mr. Yeaman's, one of Mr. Yeaman's divisions, the Infrastructure Investment Division. Of course, the Office of Future Transport Technologies has to have in mind scenarios for different use of the road by electric vehicles, by automated vehicles, the sorts of issues that Mr. Pittar was talking about earlier, but it's not the area responsible for any policy development. For example, road pricing issues, the heavy vehicle reform that's being done is being done out of the branch that's in the Infrastructure Investment Division in Mr. Yeaman's area, and that has been the case since we've been appearing in front of you over the last year.
Okay, I mean, Deputy Prime Minister McCormack, in response, said that in relation to the road pricing, it hasn't been ditched. What he did last week on behalf of the government was to announce $9.7 million of investment in the Office of Future Transport Technologies. And so that office will be working to see what we can do as far as road pricing.
Well, road pricing is definitely a relevant consideration of that office, but I've explained to you, I think, the policy responsibilities.
Okay, so you're still saying the option is still open to have a road pricing inquiry. Well, is there going to be an imminent announcement?
I think the
I've taken it on notice. I'll just note in some of the advice I have that no decision's been taken on when to commence the study, but work is already underway on heavy vehicle pricing reform with the support of all levels of government and industry. But I will get back to you, Senator Rice.
Okay. Moving on to questions about where we're